All right, hello everyone. Welcome back. We're back for another tier list, epic
We're
tier
back.
list Monday or Friday, whatever day this
We're
is.
back.
Uh, we're
Epic tier list Thursday.
yep, real smaller tier list than the last one.
It's for good reason. If anyone who's watching this suffered through the last tier list we made, I'm so sorry.
No one got past 2 seconds. We're good. We're gonna be ranking all the Fire Emblem games because we have played all of them.
We've played everything on this list. Engage isn't on here, but rest assured we've played it.
Oh shit, it's not on here. I love that game. Okay, well I guess we can't put it in S like I was planning to.
Yeah.
But
I would have put an F. I hated that game.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, I guess we can discuss that off game.
I guess we're gonna need to fight.
Yep. The death match. Anywho, we don't have separate tiers here. I don't think we care enough to make two perfects.
Yeah.
So we just have our 1S. Without further ado,
agree.
We're gonna get into Radiant Dawn. Which Spencer, have you had much?
I've played,
much?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Radiant Dawn. I think.
What do you mean? Okay, he loves Radiant Dawn. He thinks.
I think I love it. Like I really like it, man. I think it was a good game.
No, I've heard some other big content creators, and maybe in the Fire Emblem community, discuss how this game has some faults which I don't agree with. Which, like, how they gave the Black Knight character. I think that's a positive.
Does someone say that?
Someone believes the Black Knight got worse in Radiant Dawn because he was better as a nobody.
It's genius.
It's
genius.
But I truly believe the Black Knight was made better when he was added into the racism pool.
They added a lot of good things in this one. Like
the Dawn Brigade.
I think we can both agree. The Dawn Brigade.
The Dawn Brigade, I think, really makes the game. I think I was really looking for a real challenge after steamrolling Path of Radiance.
Fucking love the Dawn Brigade.
The devs finally tuned it on hard mode, so the Dawn Brigade end your run whenever anyone dies. It's really terrific.
My favorite Dawn Brigade unit's probably Leonard.
I've used Leonard more than probably Elliewood, man. Like, Leonard's the goat.
I love Leonard.
I think the plot's really good. The maps are actually pretty okay, besides a little bit in part 3, part 4, where they're really open and like deserty. The plot is not as good as Path of Radiance. I don't like any Fire Emblem that brings up goddess from the past. So basically, any Fire Emblem game I hate.
Every Fire Emblem game ever.
I like when it's more just war focused, which is what Path of Radiance did. I do think this is a great game still. I think it's held down, but it's a little hard to replay if you want to replay on hard because it's unfair at points. You really rely on good RNG rolls, and there's a lot of characters that like will show up like Tormod, and then he'll be gone for like 20 chapters, and he comes back with the same stats. He comes back with the same stats, like tier 1, and you're on tier 3 units. Like, that dude's cooked.
But does he still have extra movement? Like in
yeah, he has extra movement, but when he does 0 damage on his return chapters, not much you can really do with the man. But yeah, just like that, there's a lot of characters that like dip for a while. I like how you can split up your party at the end. You have 3 different groups. That's pretty sick. Another Fire Emblem game does that.
It's a very vast game. It's almost as vast as Sanaki's forehead.
Yep.
It's a very vast video game.
Her forehead is as big as her magic potential. She can drop some really big spells.
Absolutely.
I think I've covered most. I want to say I think some of the final boss fights are ass.
Yeah.
Then we can just teleport behind you and like anime you like nothing personal, kid, and just attack on the same turn. I don't like that. Especially on hard mode, but I never really got to experience that on Iron Man, so who cares? But overall, I think it's a very good game, just held down by a few things in the gameplay. I think plot-wise, it's completely fine. Yeah. I'm leaning towards an A.
I'd have to agree with you. I think A is a good pick.
A's a good pick. All right, we're in full agreement here. What one is this? This is 11?
Yeah, that one's 11. That's Fire Emblem. That's the Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon remake. Yeah.
Remake of the first one, yeah. I have played this once from start to finish. I never got to experience the Gaiden units because I played on my first run. I just, whenever someone dies, I'll just restart or save state. So I never got to use the Gaiden units, which I think is an interesting concept. I'm not gonna lie, the plot's like non-existent. I want to say it's ass. There's no plot here. It is
There's
your castle
so much
gets
to sink your teeth into. What are you talking about?
your castle gets taken over, then you just go around the world collecting allies, and you come back and attack your castle. There's nothing to say. The characters don't interact with each other. This game is basically Fire Emblem map, like map simulator. Like you just go through maps. There's no plot. People are attacking me for that. There's nothing going on in this game. I think Marth is fine. He does the generic Fire Emblem. Hey, I'm gonna recruit you, and that's it. That's his character. I got nothing really to say about this. Honestly, for me, this is a C tier game. I haven't replayed it. But it's not faulting in any massive area. It's just very boring to me at least.
I do agree.
All right.
However, this game right here, I feel like it was a real step up when they made this sequel to the previous entry, because this one's the sequel. This one's the remake of Fire Emblem 3.
Yes.
I feel they really stepped it up, and they made it. They really added on a lot of things, and I feel like they really gave it that intricacy that the first remake needed. And for that, I think it's a B tier. I'd have to put it in B tier.
B tier. I would have to agree. I think they could have improved Martha a little bit better, but I will agree completely with your statement on that one. I don't have too much to add. I think you covered all bases really.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fire Emblem Awakening.
Okay.
All right, I really
awakened baby
to the Fire Emblem series.
Yeah, this dude was sleeping.
This is where I began. I was born here.
All awakening babies in chat, rise up.
Not babies anymore, man.
All awakening middle-aged seniors, rise up.
All Fire Emblem Awakening people in the retirement homes, get up now.
All right,
because it's going.
What would you like to say about Awakening? I played it once. I don't have as strong as feelings.
I really enjoyed the plot of Awakening. I think it does a good job. I feel like it kind of gets a little messy at the end, but I think overall it does a decent job for a Fire Emblem plot. It does a good game.
It does a good game.
It's a good game. There's a lot of good stuff. I think the characters are really well written. Like a lot of the characters in here, there's a lot of good stuff in the support conversations. For this game, I like the child mechanic where you have all the children coming back from the future. And I think that's really all I have to say on it. The map design could be a bit better.
I was gonna say, like, what about ambush spawns?
I'm not feeling those ambush spawns.
I remember.
I don't really fuck with them. I
remember very well a certain tree map where you're like walking up a tree and they're just ambush spawns left, right, behind.
Classic Fire Emblem Awakening tree map. Yes.
Yeah. The tree map was goated. I'm not a big fan of the plot. Time travel shenanigans.
Well, that's because you're a hater.
Evil you. I'm not feeling it. That's my personal thing on it. I think the gameplay is completely fine. I didn't use pair up when I played, so I can't fairly critique the game because I was like, I don't want to use the new mechanic, so I just didn't. I was stuck in my ways.
Mechanic we should do. I don't like it.
I will say I would boost this up just for all the supports. Like they went hard on the supports, probably better than any other game to date on supports. Some of the poor supports in here are really good, and there's plentiful supports.
Oh, absolutely.
I would personally put this in B, but where would you have it? I know this is.
I would have it as a low A or a high B.
Okay, I'll concede here. We'll give you your A because this is what got you into it, and you got me into it. So I feel like it deserves the respect.
I am above you right now. I'm high up here. I'm him.
Birthright time.
Oh my god.
I have nothing to say about
I hate Birthright. Birthright feels like, as stated in our previous tier list, all the video games, Birthright feels like I'm eating like a really large Scooby-Doo sandwich, and like a cartoon character off screen, just sucks all the ingredients in, and I just take a big bite of just bread. There's really not much here. I didn't like the plot. A lot of the characters for Birthright are really kind of not great. I feel like Birthright, the characters compared to the Conquest cast, they just don't hold up as well. I think Conquest support conversation wise and maybe not story wise, because Conquest story is just as bad. Um, it just doesn't hold up to the standard of Fire Emblem, and for that I'm gonna need to give it E.
E. Okay, that might be the lowest we go.
Nope,
Cough, cough.
not.
No, it will not. Foreshadowing. Any other thoughts about it? I have not played any Fates. This is like the one Fire Emblem besides. I mean, I played Engage. But Fire Emblem Fates, I have not touched. I'm gonna be real about that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about all I have to say on Birthright. It's really not good. If you're gonna play Fates, play Conquest, which I'm about to talk about right now. Fire Emblem Conquest, as stated with Birthright, the story is debatably almost worse than Birthright, if I'm completely honest. Because unlike Birthright, where you're siding with the side that's easily like morally better, Conquest, you're like, yeah, I want to side with the evil guy. I want to go back to the evil country and hang out with my evil brothers and say, oh, they're not evil. But it's more of a make change from the inside kind of thing, and it doesn't work because it's Fates, and the writing is just all over the place. Fates feels like it had about 12 different writers, and all of them didn't talk to each other at all. However, from a map design standpoint, Conquest is easily the best of the Fates games. It really shines with its maps. They're really well made and they're really challenging, and it's fun to play through Fire Emblem Conquest. And as mentioned with Birthright, I much prefer all the characters in Conquest to the kind of stuff they had in Birthright. I would have to give Conquest a C. I'd probably put it under Fire Emblem 11?
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, I'd have to put it under there.
All right.
However, if we're going to talk about Fire Emblem Fates, we got to talk about Fire Emblem Revelation. Fire Emblem Revelation it's a huge piece of dog shit. Like it's so bad. It's so bad. Like I remember playing Revelation, and like it makes Conquest and Birthright stories look like a fucking masterpiece. Revelation decides, yeah, I'm gonna give you all of the characters from both Birthright and Conquest. And so you play through the game and you just have this giant bench of people. This giant bench of people that you're never going to use. And on top of all of that, which I didn't mention in the other ones, but it's true, you get child characters, and unlike in Awakening, it just doesn't make sense.
I've seen characters from Awakening in Revelations, like the same design or something in Fates. I mean,
half of them work and half of them don't. The ones on the Conquest side are fine. Those ones have a reason, and there was even like a DLC to explain it. It was okay. The ones on the Birthright side are fucking stupid. I'm not talking about the Birthright fucking Reese kids. We're not talking about those.
That's the only ones I've seen.
We're talking about Revelation right now. Because Fire Emblem Revelation, the maps are... Whereas Birthright had middling maps that really don't do much, and Conquest had challenging maps that were fun to work with, Fate's Revelation has gimmick maps. It has beautiful, sprawling elevator maps that were super not fun to play. It had amazing maps where you stand on blocks that move around. And it had just god-awful... It makes me want to throw up thinking about Revelation. This game's terrible. It's going in F tier. I'd put it lower if I could. It's terrible.
I haven't heard good things from any content creator or people in the community. Maybe one day I'll come across a Revelations fan and we can discuss why they like it. But once again, I've not had my own hands. I've not had my own hands.
Maybe one day. Maybe they're out there. Anyway, time to talk about Fire Emblem Echoes: Shadows of Valentia.
Echoes is something very hard to discuss. I think the plot's okay. I don't think the plot's great. I think the plot's good. You got Berkut, which really carries it.
You got the beautiful love story between and Celica.
Yeah, like I was generally interested in it, and there's really good characters all around. I don't say like the best characters in the series, but very good characters all around. I think the obvious problem which we're going to bring up, which everyone knows, this is the worst thing ever to play. This is like looking at the Fire Emblem games. Besides some of the really old ones, the first three, this has the worst maps I've ever fucking seen. This is atrocious. Anytime you're playing with Celica, just accept you're not having a good time. I think that's the best way to look at it. if you're Alm, your good maps are maps where it's like open grassland where there's nothing happening. That's your good maps. That's your good maps for Alm. And you'll take that over a swamp, over a desert. You'll take that. You'll take open grass with nothing happening. Yeah. There's, I think, specifically, I have it in my head, 2 Alm maps where it's just big grasslands. It's way too big for how many units are on the map.
There's a lot more than 2.
But I'm thinking of 2 specifically that are massive, and there's like no units on it. Like it's just like running across an open field with nothing happening. There's a lot of issues, and the big bad, which this is usually the case for most Fire Emblem games, atrocious. It's just I'm bad, and I can't tell you anything else. Not counting Baku.
You don't like Duma?
No, I can't tell you what he stands for. Besides, he likes seeing people suffer. I couldn't tell you.
What he is? That's what he does.
I think he's trying to revive a dragon or something. I don't really know what's happening. That shit was ass. And there's this gimmick map as well. Oh, I can just keep going on. Where he's like, you can only hurt him on turn 2, 4, and 6. Like what? That's awful.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about that.
Listen, I would love to give this game an optimistic B, or like, hey, you earned a C. I would want to go D for this. I'm not replaying this thing ever in my life. I have to agree. I'm not replaying this thing ever in my life.
I have to agree. I can't.
Yeah, you go.
Can't with it. Like the story's great. I'll watch one of those cutscene compilations if I want to experience it again. I'm not suffering through the maps of Fire Emblem Echoes again. I'm not doing it. The only thing echoing in this game is my suffering.
Fantastic. The characters don't deserve what game they're in. I will say that. Yeah, I think we've covered everything we really can on that game. Three Houses. You want to go first because this is more your game than me, so then I'll get my
Fire Emblem Three Houses is probably my favorite Fire Emblem game.
It's respectable.
I really like they really hit it with 2 out of 3. I'm not really big on the Edelgard route. I know that one splits and there's technically like a 4th one, but I still count it as 3 routes because it's still technically kind of like the Edelgard route, the Black Eagles route with the split at the end of that one. But I think Blue Lions and Golden Deer, they really hit it out of the park. I think if you're looking for like a lot more of an introspective, character-driven kind of thing, you'd want to go with Blue Lions. If you're looking for more of like the kind of fun romp through, a Fire Emblem universe, you'd want to go with Golden Deer. I really like the openness of the character progression. You can make people do whatever you want, restricted by gender, of course. For some reason, they decided to restrict some classes gender-wise. I don't really know why they did that, but that's just what they wanted to do.
Have always been sexist. That's just back to Con and GBA.
Women.
They get you'll have a Riven Rider. If they're female, they're down a Con. It's just how it is. Continue.
Anyway, but yeah, I feel like it was really interesting that they decided to go a route where you could swap the characters into whatever class you felt as long as you trained them the right way, and it really adds to the fact that your character is a teacher. My only gripe with Fire Emblem Three Houses is the academy. You spend too much time in the academy. Like it was a little too much. A bit too much, but other than that, I think it's probably what is, in my opinion, the best Fire Emblem game. You may bring it down a peg.
Now we're gonna take our hands inside and rip it open a little bit like we're gutting a turkey or a chicken. I agree with a lot of his positives. It's really good in a lot of aspects. I hate Elgard, so we're in the agreement there. I've not played her route, but like I did not want to play her route after doing the other ones.
As usual, hates women.
Yeah, this is nothing new. I do agree. The maps are pretty good. The characters are some of the best. I like the crew go to your house. Yeah, there's a lot of good characters. I didn't get into the new systems. There's like new skill gamble, like not gamble, but they did some.
I didn't really mess with the gambit, so I won't lie.
The plot was pretty good. I don't think if you go the other route, Edelgard's the best villain, and I don't think you really deal with the real villain unless you're Edelgard. I don't remember how that works.
I think I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure
This Golden Deer, I don't remember.
Golden Deer is the one that really deals with the main
Okay.
villain.
Golden Deer is the one I preferred when I first started. I will say Blue Lines has the best. Blue Lines handles it the best.
Character.
Yeah, Blue Lines handles the best with the character introspection. When you do Golden Deer and all that time skip shit happens, it feels like no one cares. Everyone's just kind of vibing, which is what you sign up for. But like but the game still tries to take itself seriously. But then when you get into a character conversation, everyone's like all smiles still.
Whereas in Blue Lions, you come back from the time skip and everyone's like, "What is up with this Dimitri guy? He needs to take it back a peg."
Which I'm not following the game for this because that's done well. Like if you want a more lighthearted thing, you obviously go for, I think it's Claude. It's been a while since I played.
Yeah, you go for Claude.
Which I did prefer. I did do Blue Lines after, but I still prefer Claude just because I liked his character more. But I will say Blue Lines is a better story. My biggest gripe is what he's already kind of touched on. The monastery should never return. That was absolutely horrendous. The grooming allegations cannot be beat. Your character's a groomer. You can't say otherwise. Your character is a groomer. Because you can start those relationships real early.
Man, you can't stop me.
And if you want to Iron Man this game, good luck, buddy. You're spending hours of your day in the monastery, and you can't escape. It's not something you can just skip. You need to be in there. You need to do stuff, unless you're doing a specific super hard challenge run. We're missing a Jagan in this. Like, we're missing fundamentals. We're missing a Jagan. We're missing the weapon triangle. I hate any game that doesn't have the weapon triangle.
Honestly, yeah, I don't really particularly agree with them getting rid of the weapon triangle. I won't lie, that one isn't the best choice.
I think
there's still skills to kind of put weapon triangle stuff kind of in play, but like I'm not a big fan of that.
I think no weapon triangle really strips a lot of the strategy involved in the game. It's no longer, I should put this guy this way, this guy that way, that girl this way. It's now just, here's my strong unit, go beat that weaker unit. I think a lot of the strategy is striped, like ripped away. You don't care as much how you like separate your team mid-map. You still obviously have your, separate enough so you have strong people going certain ways, but it doesn't matter as much anymore. Everyone's really good.
I do like that they carried over the magic system from Fire Emblem Echoes. I feel like I do kind of like that over the usual usable tomes stuff that they had for like Fire Emblem, all the other Fire Emblems. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get where you come from. I'm conflicted on that one. Just because I do prefer typically the GBA type games. I'm not gonna take away points for them having the new magic system. But I don't see that as a plus or a negative to me. It's just different. But yeah, like overall, the game's really fun to play. The maps are good. There's just the monastery gets in your way. Like the fishing did not need to be added. There's so much things where it's like they try to make it more modern, make it more stuff to do, then bring in new players, which worked. But no one's out here replaying this game on Iron Man. I rarely see it. It's a great game, but I think it has a lot more flaws than people recognize. I have seen the community kind of sour on it over the past few years. It's no longer like people like universally loved it. Now people will openly criticize it a bit more. I would probably have it at a very optimistic bottom A, but I will bump it up to S. I think this is Spencer's favorite.
That's right.
This is Spencer's favorite, so we're going to bump it up. But yeah, so I got all my negatives out because I agree with a lot of the positives, but that's like all those negatives combined, especially the weapon triangle. It's enough to take it down for me. But we'll do this. I'll concur on that. Weapon triangle needs to come back. I don't think Engage has it either. This is Fire Emblem 1 original?
Oh my God, this is the OG Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, the original.
Yep.
This is where it all started. This is where it all began. But it's dated. Mm-hmm. It's old. There's not much really in there to sink your teeth into. I would
argue the remake is better.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
I think a lot of people are okay with that opinion.
If you really want to play the original, you can. I wouldn't exactly recommend it. I don't think it's as bad as Revelations or Birthright. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely not as good as anything else. So I'd have to put it at the top of E if I had to place it.
That is completely fair. I want people to know people that started on this game because there's people that started on this game. This we unfortunately we played this one later. You know, we don't have nostalgia on this thing, so I would I.
I'm just that's just coming back to me. People that started with this game didn't come out in like America until like a few years ago.
People did not need to know how to read, bro. They could still play this shit.
they can just get one of them copies.
They're not missing anything. The plot's not existent. It's the same as this. I would like to argue this. I don't think it's as bad. It is the first one.
I can concede to that. I can concede to that.
I would argue that because there's some worse ones here. Do you want to start Gaiden or me? I have.
You can start with Gaiden.
Gaiden is kind of widely known around the community as really, really bad. Because Echoes, well, it's really updated. It carries over a lot of the flaws of Gaiden. Now, picture everything wrong we said about Echoes. Amplify that by 1,000 for.
Oh, they don't even got Berkut in here.
Yeah, they don't even have Berkut in Gaiden.
He ain't even there.
This thing is awful. Where it takes people years to do video playthroughs of it because they stop playing it because they don't want to keep playing it. This has happened on 2 channels I can think of in the Fire Emblem community, which I'm not going to name any of them. But this shit kills your vibe. It's a
vibe killer.
It can take hours to do a map because it's not well designed. Summoning is awful. No one has, I think, res growth in this game. And the few people that do have some decent high res are basically like just mages. And there's a lot of mage enemies. The game's just awful. There's a lot of puzzle rooms which are awful, where like you can just be there for a while if you don't know the right answer. And it's basically an Alm solo. That's basically what it runs down to. And even then, you got to get lucky on Alm. You got to get lucky. He's like the only character that's like has good growth rates, and I think he's like in the 40s.
The GOAT.
Yeah, GOAT. I would argue this is E, and I would give it to Birthright, even though I don't know. People play Gaiden.
Birthright's better.
Birthright's better? Okay. People play Gaiden just to see how bad it is. That's what I've heard. People play Gaiden just to see if they can beat it. That's what Gaiden is nowadays. That's why, like, even the remake, which fixed a lot of problems, is pretty rough to play. We want to get started on Fire Emblem 3?
Fire Emblem 3 is basically Fire Emblem 1, but better. It continues on from Fire Emblem 1, and it does everything just kind of better. It learns from the other two. I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's a perfect game. I'd probably put it like under Conquest. It does a lot to improve upon the issues with 1 and 2. But it's definitely still old. It's an old game.
Unfortunately, a lot of them are just very dated. Yeah, the growth rates really started to become modern around out to GBA, like Fire Emblem 8. Like before that, growth rates are pretty low. 7's okay, but continue if you have anything else.
No, honestly, I don't think there's too much to say. Like, I covered a lot of stuff in 1, and all I can really say on it is it built on a lot of stuff from 1, and I really liked that.
All right, I don't have any real strong thoughts about the universe with Marth. Not my favorite personally. I understand people love Marth. It never connected with me. It's a personal thing.
I like his aversion to pants in the first game. I find it very endearing.
He likes to be pantsless. I don't know what to tell you.
That's one zesty ass outfit he has in the first game. Like, what can I say?
All right, is it time?
Time for a genealogy of the Holy War. Oh my god.
Do you want to get your thoughts out first? Because I already have like thoughts. Like I'm already locked in.
You go first. I started on the last one.
All right. There's a lot of problems with this game. There is a lot of problems with this game, but unfortunately, this is the best Fire Emblem story we've ever had.
Oh, absolutely, hands down.
We're ever gonna have this thing.
Can't say that.
Fire Emblem is not gonna top Genealogy of the Holy War, and there's gonna be someone in the comments like you can't win. There's gonna be someone that's going, "Oh, fuck it, nostalgia glass." Nah, this thing is just that good. It's not overhyped. The plot is excellent. People fucking like try to copy this plot in their fan
I wouldn't exactly say nostalgia glasses with this. I mean, like We have to translate this to English. I couldn't have played this as a child. There's no nostalgia with this.
I did find out a lot of people did play. This is why I brought up earlier. A lot of people actually did play 1 and 4, but they pirated it or they just didn't read the plot. So that is a thing a lot of people did start with. This is the old heads though of the community. No offense. But a lot of people did.
What do you
play
mean no offense?
they do the old heads, not you. But there's some like I would like to argue. I'm just gonna put up here right now. I'd like to argue S, but I'm gonna put the negatives why it shouldn't be S, even though I would like to leave it there. You have to basically use the arena constantly, and the arena is like a 1 hour endeavor every chapter. If you want to get what you want.
Gambler, you don't use the arena no matter what.
If you don't use the arena, anyone who's not mounted will never see a level in their life. Because mounted units are the only ones ever going to see action. And
but Arden,
a third of your mounted units are absolute dog shit. Like Norse, like they either have speed or they have strength. They will not have both. You will not get lucky. They will not get both and be decent at both. They're ass. One of them is going to have enough speed to maybe double, and one of them's going to have enough speed to maybe 2 to 3 hit kill something. A lot of it does turn into like a Lex solo, Sigurd solo. Hit
Arden
the Quan solo. Arden's fantastic at guarding the castle. Against,
you have to give him the power of pursuit.
It also shows how incredible some units are, like Lewin that aren't mounted. The fact that he can show up with Forsetti that gives him like plus 40, like he gets like what plus 20 speed, like plus 20 luck.
He goes crazy.
He gets like plus 10 res for holding it. God forbid, like me, maybe in my last Iron Man, you lose Forsetti. The game just becomes unfun because you could have Forsetti right now and you don't. Forsetti, you can literally in the second half of the game with Seed just throw him on the map and he will kill 70 dudes and he won't get hit.
Tactical nuke inbound. Here comes Forsetti.
Legendary tomes are so broken in this game. You can put 5 legendary tomes from a modern game and combine it and be like, what's better, if these 5 together or Forsetti? I'd pick Forsetti. There's just some real broken shit in here.
You? I'd win.
Exactly. I do like the second generation element, which I think a lot of games I'm trying to copy with the kid mechanic we brought up earlier. I don't think any game has done it justice, in my opinion. Even Awakening, in my eyes. I think they should drop the kid gimmick. This is the only one I think works for me. They did.
Thankfully, you didn't breed anyone, and I'm gonna cause some issues.
They may never remake this because there's a lot of kid hunting, which people bring up all the time. If they do remake it, it'd be pretty cool. I don't know if they change it. I don't know if they change it because it's like 2-hour maps or more if you want to beat a chapter. It's insane at some points. But if you split it up, there's an issue there of is it really 4 anymore, right? So that's a little hard to handle. Maps are too long. It's very tiring, but
it's a game that asks the important question: does incest truly equal wincest? And the answer is no.
The answer is no. If you're in some of those southern states, you might be
learn from Arvis. Learn where he went wrong.
You might be causing an evil demon to rise.
You could summon the literal devil. Just remember that.
I will say one of the hardest scenes to watch in all of Fire Emblem is Sigurd getting cucked. The fact that right before he gets executed, the boy, I forget his name, red hair guy, pulls out
Julius.
No, Julius is the son.
Arvis.
Arvis, yeah. He literally right before Sigurd's about to die, he pulls out Deirdre and goes, "Hey, look at what I'm about to do." And she's like, "Oh, he looks familiar." And like Sigurd's all going like, "Oh, Deirdre, it's me." And then he just goes, "Yeah, go back inside, woman." And she does. It like that's the ultimate cuck.
She like turns around, he slaps her on the ass, and like Sigurd's like crying. He's like on his knees.
Like that was unneeded. He has a whole redemption arc in the second half, but that was the most evil thing I've ever seen. He cucked him right when he was about to die,
and he hits him with that meteor dome.
Yeah, like that is the worst thing in Fire Emblem history. Sigurd did not deserve that. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I replay 4 and I watch the cuck scene, I have to put my head down. It's rough. It's really disgraceful. I think we talked about
tragedy of it all.
I think we talked about the cuck and incest of 4 a little too much. So let's just move on here. Any other closing thoughts on 4?
No.
What do you want to say about 5?
I see what you're doing there. And I think you need to move it over a bit. It's bad, but like it's not Revelations.
Okay, there's a few guys that I believe are on Kaga's personal like security team or something that will glaze this. I don't know what's happening out there.
We ain't glazing Thracia.
This has the worst fog of war. I don't care. I don't want to be playing a game where I see 3 tiles for 2 hours.
I don't want to look like I'm putting puzzles together when I'm playing Fire Emblem.
You can get softlocked for not holding enough door keys multiple times throughout the game.
God forbid you let Leaf escape first.
If you let Leaf escape first, your whole army just, I guess, gives up, and they throw their weapons on the ground and just surrender. There's a lot, like, to be fair, the game does tell you, but every single objective in Fire Emblem 5 is escape. Every single map, it's escape, 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 escape. Like, we get it. Leaf's a fucking loser. We get it. We got after 7 escapes.
But his iconic silver bow.
And it what makes it worse is it contradicts Fire Emblem 4. The timeline doesn't work. So one of these has to be canon, and one of them has to be not canon. I refuse to believe this one exists. I refuse. Because there is, in Fire Emblem 4, you show up and save Leaf, he has like no army. So to fix that, and
clearly he escaped first.
In Fire Emblem 5, they made it so you're building up this army this entire game, even though you're running away the whole time, so Leaf looks like a loser. And then they get off-screened. Everyone gets off-screened in Fire Emblem 5. You're sitting in your castle, and your manager comes up to you. I forget the dude's name. He literally goes, "Yo, our caravan just got destroyed." That's it. That's the start of a chapter. That's it. Like, yeah, our army's gone. The army we built up for 20 chapters, they're just gone.
They're dead, man.
And he's like, "What happened? They got attacked," and that's it. That's as far as they go. It's not some big guy came in. The army just
goes, "Oh my god, Elif's over there."
And then to give Leaf a little victory, Leaf literally goes to Seliph and goes, "Hey man, this castle that we were holding," when they meet up in 4, let me go back in there. This only happens in 5. Let me go back in there because the big guy that's been harassing my team for 20 chapters, he's in there. So Leaf gets to have his little finale inside of his imaginary army that doesn't exist. And he gets to push in and open doors with his door keys that he saved throughout the game. And then you beat this nobody who doesn't matter anymore because Self is here to save your country because you couldn't do it.
Damn.
Damn. 25 chapters. Self shows up and does it in 1.
But that's like a genealogy, the Holy War chapter. That's like 5 chapters.
25 chapters is what Leaf was doing. He did nothing. But you go in there and you fight this little noble and you act like it's a big victory when in reality Seliph would have just like looked at him and he would have died from Conqueror's Hockey.
Crazy.
There is, and then Leaf leaves and I guess his army just goes home because they don't join Seliph. So this game is a fucking sham.
They don't want to continue with Seliph and witness the incest baby at the end of his journey.
And Seliph's iconic silver bow. I'm sorry, if you're playing Fire Emblem 4 and you actually
iconic silver bow,
actually promote Leaf, I need to see what you're doing in the game.
They clearly want the iconic silver bow, man. Come on now.
Are you save stating and having him just in the front lines and like one of every 1,000 tries?
Have you seen this man with his light sword?
I have not seen Leaf hit level 6 in Fire Emblem 4. This dude is on foot.
Clearly,
and he can't
it's because
beat
you
anyone.
hate him. Because you hate him.
You throw this dude in the arena, good lucking and pass round 2 out of 7. This dude's
leave
ass
alone. Tracy is 776 sucks, but like leave my man alone.
This game, I will say one positive thing about this game. Seed's in there, and I think he can have Forsetti.
Holy shit!
Once Seed shows up, the game's over.
Crazy.
But yeah, but then last thing. How come in Fire Emblem 4 you get him a chapter or 2 later and he's defending another castle? Who knows? Anyway, it's not canon. It's not canon. Fire Emblem 6, you go, Spencer. I'm angry now.
Fire Emblem 6 is one of the games of all time. Fire Emblem 6 has our boy, Roy, coming in to save his country. Roy is Elliewood, but worse. So, like, he's out there. He's living under the name of the GOAT. And he's out there doing his business to save his country from Zephiel, who I think wants to fuck dragons.
Yes, he's really into dragons. I will say constantly throughout this game, I was waiting for Eliwood to die constantly.
Like, that's why he's the GOAT.
By the time you're in chapter 6 and like your whole army goes to fight bandits on an island. By the way, Rory, what the fuck are you doing? You spent 3 chapters on an island. Oh, we left our country defenseless. Eliwood's gonna die, and you just don't see Eliwood again. I will say,
because he's the GOAT.
The dragon plot line of my Poppy was mean to me. I want dragons here now. Little weak, but you know it's classic Fire Emblem villain. The maps here are really good. I do like the maps. There is ambush spawns though. I think it's easily replayable if you like Iron Manning. A lot of units are dog shit though. A lot of the units are made to be bad, which people will defend and say that's what makes it unique. But
you get some good units like Trek, and you know you just got to keep walking. You know you got to take what you can get.
It's really easy to keep Trek alive. He totally doesn't die on like turn 2.
He's the greatest character ever made.
There's a few chapters.
Rude, and he falls asleep on his horse. What more do you want?
Once you get past chapter 4 or 7 on hard and 6, you're going downhill. If you get past chapter 7, you beat the game basically. I do hate how you have to have all legendary weapons to get the good ending, which isn't hard getting them. The problem is if you put them on a unit like an archer and they just get offed, there goes your good ending. Like an archer that can use like the legendary bow. If anyone dies, you just lose the good ending that is holding them. So you feel forced to put them in your convoy and never have them out. Because they don't give a lot of good stat boosts like the previous game. So you kind of just get attack power with them. So,
you know, if you come to this game from Fire Emblem 7, you know, you get reintroduced to some of your favorite characters from the future game that comes after this one. From the prequel, you get some of the greatest characters like Bartra returning.
Bartra returning with a Brave Axe might just make him an S tier character in the field.
You get to see Corel for like 1 chapter.
Corel's actually good in this game.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't think there's much more to say. I think I have a bit more of appreciation for 6 than you.
I will agree with that, yeah.
I would probably have it really low A. I don't know if you want to drop it a bit.
Oh, actually, that sounds fine to me. I expected you to have it higher.
No,
that's about where I would have it.
It's definitely not S. There's a lot of issues. It can be a little hard to replay, but
overall, it's no 3C7.
It's no 3C7.
So Geology of the Holy War. Alrighty, let's talk about the GOAT.
Yeah.
The first localized Fire Emblem game. The first one to make it to North America and Europe. Fire Emblem 7. Fire Emblem Blazing Sword, or just colloquially known as Fire Emblem. This game is probably a big game. It's important to a lot of people. You get some of the greatest characters like Nurgle.
Hey, I'm gonna defend Nurgle.
I love Nurgle.
I'm actually gonna defend Nurgle when I.
He awaits you on the Dread Isle, bruh. Didn't you hear?
This is the easiest game to meme, and honestly, while it's not perfect, and I hate how there's a lot of green unit dyings that can fail, like if you do an Iron Man run or just fail your mission in general if you're not Iron Manning, like Battle Before Dawn. There's a lot of bad stuff.
Classic Battle Before Dawn.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff.
Iconic.
I think this game is where a lot of people start, including me. It's on the easier end unless you're doing like Hector hard mode. So it's
doing
easy.
Lin hard mode.
Yeah, Lin hard mode really tussles your feathers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good maps, great characters, a lot of great units.
Like Eliwood.
I always suggest using Marcus when you need to, especially on higher difficulties. People will throw him to the
I've
side.
seen what you do with Marcus. I saw what you did to that boat map.
Marcus is very easy to lose, I think, in 7.
He's very, he's a good guy.
But yeah, fantastic maps. The plot, if you think about it, doesn't work at all. But we're not going to think about the plot because I think we should give this credit. The only thing
we're going to think about is Eliwood's beautiful visage.
Yeah,
what he looks like.
I think we have to give this game credit for basically bringing everyone into the series besides Awakening. And Three Houses are bringing in some people too. But this was like the first game that really put people in and got the fan base from 5 people to 6 people. It really blew it up.
Sacred Stones might have just brought it up to 7, but we'll talk about that later.
I will defend Nurgle because he actually has one of the better character arcs, not character arcs, but character depth.
Better character arcs. Dude, I loved it when Nurgle showed up. It was like, Eliwood, stand back. Let me kill the fire dragon.
It really won me over when that happened. And then him and Athos kissed.
Dude, I cried tears of joy when Nurgle felt the loving embrace of a human being for the first time when Hector ran up and smashed his face in with his axe.
Nurgle actually does have good character depth because I think it's heavily implied Nils and Ninian are his children, but he actually forgot all about them because he's been using dark magic to, Nurgle. I believe, to revive his wife. But he forgot that's what he was doing because he took in so much dark magic over the years that he just started making mannequins of like the people who are servants, and he forgot Nils and Ninian completely. All he remembers is that he needs to save them or get them. So his brain goes, I need them to open the gate, obviously. So he forgets they're his children.
Clearly, I need to bring the dragons back.
Yeah, so like he remembers some stuff, but his mind's all twisted. He's trying to kill them instead of saving them, which was his initial plot. The biggest problem with this is if you want to see this plot, you got to get the Gaiden for the Gaiden, which is absolutely insane. It's a Gaiden inside of a Gaiden. It is ridiculous.
It's Gaidenception. Don't lie. I'm not going to attest to any of the Nurgle depth you've brought up. I haven't seen any of it.
No one has.
I don't really know. No one has. No one knows the deep Nurgle lore of the time he decided not to step on a caterpillar. What a guy.
I think there's literally like an artwork piece that's hidden in that Gaiden in a Gaiden too, that like no one has ever saw. It's insane how hidden it is. But that's why I'll defend Nurgle over a lot of the other villains in Fire Emblem because they actually tried. I don't know why they hid it. I think that's all I can say. I would like to argue maybe an A or an S just because it's the game.
I would argue an S for Fire Emblem 7, but like bottom of S.
Yeah,
Fire Emblem 7 is the story is not the greatest at a lot of the points, but it does what it does, and it does what it does good.
Mm-hmm. And it introduced a lot of people, so
it's peak.
Alrighty,
time to talk about what could be arguably, obviously it's not Genealogy of the Holy War levels, but it could be one of the darker Fire Emblem games out there. Yes.
I already have a tier in my head, so you can go first if you want. I don't really know what you want to do here.
Well, I'm going to start off by giving my tier opinion. Fire Emblem Sacred Stones is a B tier game.
Yes, I agree.
But that just because it's in B tier does not take away what Fire Emblem Sacred Stones is. Fire Emblem Sacred Stones is a very good game. There's a lot of depth to read into in there. Ephraim and Erica, they spend the entire game trying not to summon the Dark God like Arvis did. And they are some of the lords that Fire Emblem has ever had.
They definitely tease some FE4 action, if you know what we mean.
They definitely almost summon like a Dark God, but they don't because they're the good guys.
The maps in this are good. The characters are, I think they're some of the weakest GBA in my opinion, like the side characters, but they're still good. I think I prefer even 6 characters. My biggest problem with it is depending on your route, I don't know what to think about Lion because he's really friendly with Erica, but if you're Ephraim, he's just an asshole and he tells you different stories about what's actually happening depending on your route. So it's really hard to get a grasp if the line's still in there or not. Because if you're Ephraim, you don't see that at all. But if you're Erica, it seems like he's still in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So that could be because he liked Erica. Erica. I don't know. I like the plot. I like how it's actually just like a war, like an invasion. But of course, it devolves into demons.
Monsters. Here there be monsters.
I do like how there's a training tower, although I don't use it. I think that's cool to have there for people. I'm not a big fan of the open map walk around like Awakening has too. Not my thing. I just find this is the least one I want. Like I want to replay this one the least out of the GBA games. I rather play 6 or 7, but it doesn't do anything wrong. I just find it's short and I can be a little bored even though it's really short. I don't know why that is.
Like there's a lot of things in this game that are written really well. Like that's not to discredit some of the story writing. Like I think his name was Orson. Like when they finally like retake their castle,
Yeah,
and they have the one guy in there with like his dead wife. That was really well written. I liked that.
excellent. Yes,
Um,
make sure
but
to
then
steal his lance.
yeah, make sure to take his stuff. But anyway, other than that, I think Sacred Stones is a very B tier game. It just kind of falls to the wayside of a lot of the better Fire Emblem games, but it's not bad in a sense that you can clearly pick something wrong with it.
Mm-hmm. We have a very nice diverse list, and we got one more.
I got one more Fire Emblem Path of Radiance.
Path of Radiance. I'm a glazer for this game. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's a good game. Like, there's no reason to not be a glazer for it.
I think a lot of its mechanics are some of the best stuff that they've carried over. Like that a lot of family games carry over. The battle XP. So if you get a lot of XP based on certain objectives you do, and if there's a character that you get really late or you haven't used and you want to use them, just throw them 10 levels. It's easy. You get a decent amount. That's a really great system. The support system based on deployment and not being close to each other, fantastic. I think getting rid of con and having if you can wield a weapon probably based on strength, I prefer. That's more subjective. Like if something weighs like 13 and you get 13 strength, that person's no longer weighed down. That makes that unit instantly better based on strength level ups, which is really good for it. Makes mages have a reason to get strength. If they have tomes that weigh like 3 and they have like 1 strength, you get 2 levels, they're no longer weighed down by their tomes. Like I think there's a lot of great mechanics here. Especially like the preparation menu is some of the best.
Yeah.
I will say this game is a bit easier on the easy side.
But that doesn't really take away things. Sometimes you don't want to play like the hardest Fire Emblem game known to fucking man.
I would personally, people say Sacred Stones, I'd personally say Path of Radiance is the easiest for me. I don't know why. Maybe I've played it a lot. If I lose, I find it's because I did something really stupid that I just wasn't thinking. Me and Spencer have co-op this game on Iron Man and beat it. Like it's really easy.
Rest in peace, Jill and Mia. That was a tragic thing that happened on that co-op run.
Lost them to one killer axe guy. That unbearable. Especially me. I don't know how that happened.
Crazy.
I think everyone's mostly usable in this. I don't think there's really a joke unit. I'm trying to think. Everyone can be used.
Largo?
Largo's just mid. He's not bad. he's just mid. You can use him on the final chapter, but he will get doubled, I think. There's not one who's just bad.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking.
Marcia's brother.
Oh,
the mount guy. That's really he sucks. Yeah, he sucks. Never mind. He's the worst unit in the game. Oh, besides some of the. Oh no.
I guess he's also kind of Shinon. Shinon kind of sucks.
Shinon does suck because he'll come back with like 10 strength.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. He is good when he's there, but yeah, he's just ass when he comes back. And recruiting him back is not worth the hassle.
Yeah.
I think you got to talk with Wolf and then beat him with Ike. Personally, for me, it's between S and A. I think it just does so much well, and it's one of the, like when I'm replaying Fire Emblem 9, I'm generally having more fun than most Fire Emblem games. But it's definitely on the easier end, which it can be a little like once you start steamrolling, like halfway through the game, it can be a little boring just because you can throw anyone at anyone and you're gonna win. I think that's just kind of what happens. We don't have the Maniac mode, the Japanese Maniac mode. If I heard that's a lot harder. I've never played it.
I heard it's so much fun.
I heard it's enemy spam. Yeah, for me, I'd probably say very top of A, or I would probably go bottom of S.
I would say very top of A.
I think we can grant that. I'll put it over Radiant Dawn because I think Radiant Dawn has a lot of issues.
That way it's there with Radiant Dawn. You know, it's with its other game.
I will say it should be above 2 because Radiant Dawn ruins some stuff like the battle XP. If you do higher difficulties, like 5,000 battle XP, which would probably be about like 5 levels, and like late for like promoted units in Path of Radiance, will get you nothing in Radiant Dawn. They if you move up difficulty in Radiant Dawn, they cut how much battle XP is worth by like half each time, and it becomes worthless. It's nothing. You get 1 level if you save it for like the whole game. They ruin some stuff in Radiant Dawn. I think the plot's a lot better in Path of Radiance. Some of the best world building in any of the games in Path of Radiance. Plot's a whole other matter, but I think the world building for sure is some of the best. And I tolerate the Lagoos.
Also, actually, if we scroll up a bit, we could probably move Genealogy: The Holy War over 3 houses because we both unanimously agree that that's an S tier title.
Yeah, that's probably
And
a
honestly,
bit
we
more
could
fair.
probably put it at the bottom if you wanted to put 7 over it too.
We can leave it. I give 7 the best. 7 gameplay wise probably shouldn't be up there and plot wise, but it's just a classic. Everyone likes 7. So
It is what it is. Yeah.
yeah. Well, it gets like the honor, yes. But besides that, I think we're pretty much done.
But I think that's your tier list.
Engage would have gone in like double S.
Engage is so good it's not even on the list.
Yeah, it's transcended everything here. A pretty W list. I didn't think that would take so long, but we got our in-depth thoughts out.
Everyone, feel free to tell us how wrong our list is and how terrible it is. Feel free to everyone, if you've made it to this part, dislike the video and leave us a hate comment.
Let us know how much you love Revelations and Thracia. Some of the biggest piles of junk that's ever came out of the series.
Every single Revelations fan, please tell me how wrong I am about the game. The only person that likes the game, please inform me on the nuances of Revelations because I could not see it.
And the Kaga cult, please spare my family. There's a lot more of you than the Revelations fans. My life is in danger. But I truly just don't get it for that game. But besides that, I think we're all wrapped up. This was a good tier list. We'll be back next time. Maybe just me. Maybe co-op. I don't know what we're doing. For another tier list.
Maybe I'll be here to give the worst fucking takes ever, like I normally do.
Yeah, so you can.
We'll find out.
You can take all the hate. I'll throw you under the bus. But yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching the tier list, everyone.
Guys. Bye.
Low gang out. Cheese.
I like my trees.
Yeah, we both went there. All right. Bye.